Good to have you join us again. If you're just tuning in, you're watching The Buzz Tuesday's edition. And of course, today at the table, we'll be looking at the ongoing xenophobic attacks on Nigerians living in South Africa by South Africans. Now, the ongoing xenophobic attack launched by South Africans against Nigerians and other foreigners has seen properties, including cars belonging to Nigerians, being set on fire. And yesterday, I reported that the attack occurred just after the South Africans allegedly raided the Nigerian embassy in the country. It was further learned that some Nigerians are currently hiding in bushes due to the violence meted out by South Africans. Of course, all over social media are videos of showing various scenes of how these attacks are being done by the South Africans. But let's go and see this particular one on how the South Africans have actually been carrying out the raid on Nigerians and their businesses. We'll be back.
Sorry, I'm getting out. Sorry, yeah. Arrest me. Don't shoot me, Judge. Yeah, arrest me.
Yeah, come.
Yeah, arrest me. Don't shoot me. Arrest me.
Come. One. Down. See him there. Down. How about a help? Go. Check who else is there. Come outside, yeah.
Go.
Come outside. Come outside. Wait.
Sorry, please.
Yeah, come on.
Come outside. Please, sorry.
Come outside.
Please don't shoot me, please.
Come outside.
Don't shoot me, please. No, don't shoot you. Come out.
You.
Take this one. Put him in the van.
We're just trying to take some cars outside because they are burning the shop everywhere. We don't even know the cause, but right now we just need to be safe and other things because other shop they closed. Like 5-6 shop is already shut down already.
But trust me, South Africa, you guys are sitting on a time bomb. Trust me. You're sitting on a time bomb. If foreigners leave this country, you guys are going to suffer.
Wait that battery, wait, they start red one.
See, I'm for you. The battery, they're okay. The people working here, they are South Africans. I pay my tax. People gave me license to open business.
This will never end because it's almost every less than every 6 months you must hear an act like this. But the solution now is what we're looking for now is a solution. My company has like 10 staff. Among all these 10 staff, they are all South African. They are all South African. It's just me alone and my partner that is in Nigeria. Then what else do you guys want us to do? We create job. We came to create job for them. We're not like stealing job from them because we are creating. We have to go somewhere and right now it's dark already, but I know God will guide us to our destination for now.
Let's go. Touch the cover, boa noite. Come on, car. So, now,
Welcome back. All right, gentlemen, that's exclusive video, courtesy EWN, of what's currently going on in South Africa as we speak. I mean, killings are going on both night and day, and the police over there seem to have a handful. All right, gentlemen, let's talk about this attack.
I'm so sad. I'm in tears, honestly, because you see somebody who leaves his country to another country to make a living. These are they're not armed robbers, they're not thieves, they're not fraudsters. These are people who are genuinely trying to make a living for themselves. And then some people just decide that no, we must destroy them. I'm ashamed of the South Africans. Honestly, I am completely ashamed. Maybe we should have allowed them to remain in apartheid. Maybe that is what they want, because this is the typical behavior of animals. There is no humanity in their behavior. Considering that even it was Nigeria who spent so much money getting them out of slavery. Maybe we should have left them in that slavery. Maybe that would have sent a better message. It still comes back to us as people, as black people. What do we want? Other nations are talking of innovations, opening up channels of technology. What is the average black man doing? We're either doing ritual, we're cultism, and then this one.
Okay. All right, let me ask this question. I mean, we're talking about the two most populous countries in Africa, South Africa and Nigeria, at loggerheads here. Is this an indication of something bigger than what we're seeing really on the surface?
Well, I think there is more to this. I see it as a sort of, how do I put it? Competition. Competition in the sense that, Nigeria believes that we are the giant of Africa, the way we used to put it. So also the South African too, they are now in contention. But let me start from the beginning. The time South Africa, the time they were in apartheid, Nigerians spent so much, roughly $46 million. That is what we had. They could have spent more than that. I remember all our artists, Nigerian artists, they came out, especially the late Sonny Okozo. That's where he sang Fire in Soweto, Burning Up My People. That is, we have soft spot for because we count them as our brothers and sisters. What they are now doing is beyond imagination.
Do you think Nigerians, in some way, could have, what's the word I'm looking for, triggered this attack that is happening to them in terms of our flamboyant lifestyles, boisterous attitude to everything? Do you think this could have gotten on the wrong side of the South Africans? I'm not trying to justify the attacks. I'm just asking basic questions out there.
Nigerians, wherever we may find ourselves, we used to excel in all aspects of life. And as soon as we leave the shore of Nigeria, wherever we may be, we don't mind doing any kind of job. Like the South Africans, the way I heard, they always live flamboyantly. They don't, Nigerians are the people doing all these dirty jobs for them, and we don't mind because we are looking for money. I think understand. So after doing all these things, after acquiring so much, I see it as a sort of envy. How can these people come from another country to be enjoying the way they are enjoying, to have all this? I have a brother there. He told me that all the best car shops in South Africa are owned by Nigerians. All the hairdressing salons, mostly all the catering services, something are owned by Nigerians. We are hardworking. I don't understand. So I don't think we are the people.
So more or less, Nigerians have taken over their
We foreign day, you know.
Chooks, let me bring you in at this juncture. As a journalist, you know, and also as a Nigerian, how did you receive, you know, this news of this recent attack?
It's really very sad, you know. And although I'm not surprised, I'm not surprised that we're having this because it has always been there. But let me correct one impression. The attack is not basically on Nigerians. It's an attack on foreigners. And then when you look at the population of people in South Africa, maybe if you take away Zimbabwe or Ghana, you have Nigerian, you have a lot of Nigerians in If I look at my international passport, I think the visa I have most is South African visa. I must have visited South Africa more than 15 times. From Johannesburg to Cape Town to Bloemfontein to Clarence, wherever you can think of. And I can tell you what the issues are.
Okay.
Sometimes we sit here in Nigeria and we try to look at this from our own perspective, from what we think we know. But when you go down there are so many issues on ground. An average South African is very, you know, unlike what you have here where a Nigerian wants to sort himself out, there's this entitlement mentality in South Africa where a South African believes that government must provide this, I must get this, I'm supposed to get this.
As against
where
a typical Nigerian
that just goes to sort
exactly.
themselves out.
Okay.
So you live in this same society and you are watching a young boy come into South Africa today. In 1 year, he's a big guy, he owns a shop. So they are wondering, so how are these guys coming? So that's where this thing is coming from. And then when you say South Africans, they're actually, you won't find the white South Africans do this. You won't find the white South Africans do this. Now, amongst the black South Africans, you can still divide them into two.
Okay.
There's these black South Africans that work with the whites. You won't find them do this. They are the ones you find in Nigeria working for all your South African tourism, South African embassy, whatever South African investments you find. They are black South Africans that have done businesses or works or serve the whites.
So their mentality
is entirely different.
Sort of. Okay.
The people you find do these things are, when you in Nigeria, people you call touts. These are people who don't really bloody care. And I must tell you, it's a big challenge even for South Africa as a country. If you look inside the cabinet itself, you still find these things depending on where the officer or whatever the government official is coming from.
Okay.
Also tells you the kind of opinion they hold. We all listen to the deputy police
commissioner.
So when you look at that one, you can tell the background where it's coming from. So this thing is creeping in the entire system. So it's something that has been there. And that's why it's been difficult from one president to the other. They are still finding it difficult to do what? To stop this. Because what is happening in South Africa today is that the blacks are president. The whites are running the economy. So they leave you as president, go and do the politics. The white South Africans are not, how many of them, they can be president. But they understand that he who holds the economy holds the power. So the whites are holding the economy. The other economy, the informal economy, is in the hands of the foreigners who have the patience to begin to set up small businesses. So the ones who claim to be South Africans, the black South Africans, are not happy. They are not happy with the whites. They are not happy with the foreigners.
Okay.
So this is where, if you put all this together, you understand where this whole madness is coming from.
Even though that is not a justification.
Yeah,
it is not a justification.
I was going to say something. I was going to say something that, you know, you've given a wonderful picture of what is happening. But it's also the duty of the government of South Africa to provide security, to secure the lives and properties of these foreigners.
Let me
finish. You see, Take for instance, we've had issues of kidnapping in Nigeria. And we know when foreigners are kidnapped in Nigeria, we know how government reacts immediately to ensure that they, rescue them and all of that. For me right now, there is nothing anybody will tell me that would justify what is going on in South Africa. And as I'm saying it now, I think it is time. We need to come up as Nigerians. We need to tell, send a message to the South Africans that we can no longer tolerate this kind of rubbish.
Let me ask a quick question. Do we think there's complicity on the part of the South African government in all of this?
That's the point I wanted to, because what I wanted us to do is to put this whole issue on the table. Because if you understand the basics of this issue, you now begin to see where the problem is. Just last Friday, I was at Federal Palace Hotel in Lagos here. And what was the event? The South African tourism was having a roadshow. And what's the idea of a roadshow is to get Nigerians to visit South Africa. Just on Friday.
In the midst of all this,
on Friday. So you see, that's why I'm saying that even the South African government, somehow, you see that they're even finding it difficult to deal with it. Because that event had the Consular General in Lagos, Turkey, Africa, was at the event. The Deputy High Commissioner in Abuja was at the event. The very senior South African tourism officials in Africa were at the event, apart from the guy in Nigeria. South Africa tourism has only one physical office in Africa, minus in South Africa where they come from. And that only physical office is on Lagos Island. It tells you how important, I've had interview sessions with 2 different South African tourism reps in Nigeria at different locations, and I always raise this issue as how important is the Nigerian market, because the way you are trying to pull Nigerians to go to South Africa, and Nigerians in South Africa are not feeling safe. Are you not working at cross purpose?
Exactly. That's a good point. Anyways, because of time, let's push it along. Now, this has been a topic of discourse. It has actually dominated discourse on social media for the last couple of days, and a lot of Nigerians on social media are calling for a boycott of South African businesses, in Nigeria. Other people are also saying Nigerians in South Africa should come back home. How much of an option is this? We'll come back and look at that. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Oyama has reacted to the viral videos of burning and looting of shops and properties owned by Nigerians in South Africa. Reacting to the report and viral videos, Oyama stated that the Nigerian government will be taking definitive measures over the attacks in which there was no effective police protection. Now, talking about police protection for Nigerians living in South Africa, Nigerians have dug up an old video of the current South African Deputy Minister of Police, Bongani Nkongi. In this particular video, the man was actually justifying the xenophobic attacks on Nigerians and all that foreign nationals. He said, and I quote in parts, how can a city in South Africa be 80% foreign nationals? That is dangerous. And he went further to say that we are surrendering our land, and it is not xenophobia to talk truth. We fought for this land from a white minority. We cannot surrender it to the foreign nationals. And here goes the mentality behind the attacks on Nigerians and all the foreigners. Let's go and hear Nkongi say this. We'll be back.
Arises, and we must investigate also what is the law of South Africa says. How can a city in South Africa be 80% foreign nationals? That is dangerous. That in Hillbrow and the surrounding areas, South Africans have surrendered their own city to the foreign nationals. The nation should discuss that particular question. you won't find South Africans in other countries dominating a city into 80%. Because if we do not debate that, that necessarily means the whole South Africa could be 80% dominated by foreign nationals. And the future president of South Africa could be a foreign national. We are surrendering our land. And it is not xenophobia. To talk truth, we fought for this land. From a white minority, we cannot surrender it to the foreign nationals. That is a matter of principles. We fought for this country, not only for us, for the generations of South Africans. The arms that are being used here in Hillbrow are arms of war, which are unlicensed. The hijacking of buildings here in Hillbrow is a sign of taking over power.
All right, so that's the South Africa Deputy Minister of Police, actually saying that. Okay.
It's quite unfortunate, if you hear such a thing from such an hierarchy, from that, it means this man talking here is, I would call him a bad politician in uniform. The contribution being made by the foreigners towards the economy of South Africa is so enormous. They cannot rule that one out. The foreigners are the people doing all sorts of things. Like my friend here said, the real South Africans, I mean those with very high kill, cannot be doing all sorts of things because their mentality is so different from the street urchins, all these touts, all this. So Nigerian government is not doing anything. I'm very sorry to say. Dabiri Arewa traveled there severally. What Nigerian government will always say, we condemn it. How long are you going to be condemning this kind of thing at the detriment of people's life? People are dying nearly on a daily basis. Nigerian government is not doing anything at all. They are not even doing anything. So it's a sad situation. It's a sad situation. Look, I don't want to mention the South African companies here. All their companies here in Nigeria. I remember about 2-3 weeks ago, the students, the NAN, led by their president, went to one of their companies. Our police people, if you see the way they treated them, the way they drove them away from the compound as if there's something behind it. So there are some
Mr. Tanner,
people,
you raised two very valid issues. The first one is the fact that even our government cannot protect our own people.
Of course.
If you go on social media, a South African has put out a tweet that I cannot put on air because of the language. And he was bragging, they're going to kill some more Nigerians today because our government cannot do anything. That is the first point. Now the second point is our business relations with South Africa. We know we do business across country and all of that. Calling for a boycott of South African or South Africa old businesses. How is that going to help?
All right, let me say this. First and foremost, like he has said, what is the value of a Nigerian life? Either in Nigeria or outside Nigeria. Until we get to that point where we know the value of a Nigerian life, we will not be saying the truth to ourselves. Two, I'm ashamed to say that, sometimes I'm ashamed to say I'm a Nigerian, because our government itself has not treated the Nigerians, within Nigerians, well. So if you don't treat your own child well, nobody will treat your child well outside. So I would say this, I am really fed up with each time this thing happens, the federal government will only say, we condemn it. How long will you condemn it? Two, we no longer have labor. I keep saying it. We no longer have labor. We no longer have real activists in Nigeria. The people we have today who call themselves activists are people looking for money, looking for appointment in government. This is where the Nigerian Labour Congress that wants Nigerians to come out tomorrow and join them in a protest for government to pay them 30,000 naira minimum wage. This is where they should come out. They should be out there. We need to close down all South African business, even though they are employing Nigerians. We need to send a message to these South Africans. Who are they? Why should they think that the Nigerian life has no value when the Nigerians are adding to their economic value?
Okay, Chuks, how will a boycott actually help in this issue?
I must be very honest with you. I don't know whether everybody will like what I'm saying, but I'm talking from the point of view of somebody who understands what the issues are.
Okay.
Of course, it's not everything we say on air. That Nigeria as a country has not been able to do the kind of things we wanted Nigerians to do. It's also because, in doing this, you have to be very diplomatic. If you take a tally of how many Nigerians who are living in South Africa illegally, that's another issue you have to deal with. So sometimes there are so many things that come into play, but I still think we need to go at the level of that diplomatic engagement, not shutting down. If
We've been diplomatic for many years.
No, but what I'm saying is that sometimes at this time we need to be very, we need to be very careful. As much as I expect that the Nigerian government, what I want the Nigerian government to do is to send very strong warning. You make some strong statements about this. You know why? The Nigerians in South Africa, from the video we saw, the young man said it's already dark, only God will protect us this night, because the killing happens day and night. So you also be very worried that you have your people out there who are trying to, they can't even get sleep. I was chatting with one of them this morning, and he told me that they are no longer sleeping in their homes. He said their children, they don't send their children to school anymore. So if we, here in Nigeria, I would say let us go and block all their companies. The people you are dealing with, like I was trying to paint the picture, are not on that level with you. They are not on that level of understanding with you. Even within the country, they are even finding it difficult to even handle these people. Don't forget that when a South African musician was killed, Lucky Dube. And what did they say? They thought it was a Nigerian. That was why he was killed. The guys who shot him didn't know he was the one, because he was using a flashy car.
I thought that was a case of carjacking.
No, because they thought they didn't know it was a South African. They would have done it to their own brother, because they thought they were dealing with this. So this is a very complicated situation. But what I expected Nigeria to do, see, Nigeria is too big to take some insults from some countries.
Simple.
That's the point I'm
making. Now you're coming down to the basics.
But calling for you to go on the street, we're using the instrument of diplomacy. Nigeria can actually hold South Africa on their balls.
No, Chuks, diplomacy has not worked.
I think I would disagree.
I disagree with you, Chuks. Diplomacy has not worked. For how long?
People are being killed.
For how long?
Somebody comes into Chuks. So are we saying that Nigerians should go into South Africa, block their start killing them?
I don't. No.
We are not going to find a solution to this problem.
We're talking about a boycott.
We're not talking about killing.
Chuks, business.
No, let me answer the question.
Okay, one at a time.
Let me ask Chuks a question. A man comes into your house and rapes your wife the first time. You go and people say sit down and negotiate with the man. He comes the second time. They say sit down. You come the third time.
How long will your daughter? I'm asking you now. Look, what is the population of South Africans in Nigeria? What is the population of Nigerians in South Africa?
No, it doesn't matter.
I will still say the fault is at the government's
doorstep.
Exactly.
They don't value our own lives here, as my friend here has said. They don't value our own lives here. Talk less of the people in diaspora. Abike Dabiri went to South Africa severally. She will come back and say, no, we've settled it. It won't happen again. They've promised. Look at what their deputy police or whatever. Look at what they're saying now. Our government, until our government values our own lives.
Okay, I understand what everybody is saying, what Chuks is saying, and what the other two, have agreed on. But let's not forget that already Cape Town in South Africa has a history of high crime rate. You know that averagely about 50 people are shot dead per week, if not more. And then you now come and put this on top of it, because the issues we're dealing with here is not just Nigerians
Of course.
having businesses.
No.
We also have Nigerians who are running illegal,
That's exactly the point.
illegal
That's the
drug
point.
issues,
That's the
cults
point.
issues. So there are so many issues.
You know
lumped
what? You know
together
why?
in
You
all
know,
of
you
it.
know
Every
why
country
it is
has
not
that.
everything that will come on air
No,
talking about.
I get that.
But I know that there's a place in Johannesburg called Hillsborough. Even as a South African, native South African, you cannot go to Hillsborough
Yes, that's a drug baron, drug area.
because
area
it's
now.
already taken over by foreigners. That does not justify. And what I'm saying
Yeah.
is that at the level of government, I am expecting that the Nigerian government should pull the string.
Okay.
It's not about boycott or not. It's about we cut off your bilateral relationship. But even if you are doing that, you also have to understand a whole lot of Nigerians have established business name with the same South Africa. So you need to weigh these options.
Okay.
It's
Before
not
you
something
take-
you do in
No.
a haste.
All right, let's go to
No
viewers
man's life
platform.
worth.
Let's see how viewers are reacting. Udo says the problem is where the people are from. They came out of years of oppression, deprivation, and so don't be surprised to see such behavior on Nigeria and others. All right, this other one says, I think enough is enough. If our government did not try to stop it, the youth of Nigerians will take the bull by the horn. All right, this other one coming in says, South Africans are being selfish. Sorry, I'm a bit slow because a lot of people are passionate here and using some kind of languages we cannot bring on air. Austin from Asaba says South Africans are being selfish, lazy, and scared of the future. If we are not safe at home, we are not safe outside our home, then the fault is from our government. Are they scared of South Africans?
Yes.
Or are they incompetent? Austin is asking. Okay, moving it along. What are Nigerians doing there? This is not beyond my own expectation. We pretend that things are okay when we're suffering. Our government is a problem. South Africa can't bear what we bear. Cotonou people have taken over Nigeria work in oil company. Let us be in Nigeria and build it together.
Of course.
Okay, all right. This other one says, thanks for your insight into the xenophobic attack on Nigerians. They simply know that they need us for our money but never want us anywhere around them. Laziness raised to the power of 2. Akogu IG sent that one in.
100.
Good afternoon, madam. It is very sad when I watch the video. Please, what is the role of the federal government of Nigeria on this matter? Elaine from Jos, Plateau State, sent that one in. All right, Ali Dina from Agege is saying, anywhere in the world, my fellow Nigerians are not lazy. Yes. South Africans are freaking lazy. Okay, I feel so sad watching this video. Our government need to do something quickly, not only reaction, but we need action now. Chukuma Gentle, thank you for sending that one in. I blame the Nigerian government for not taking the right steps. All right, let me stop it here. Meanwhile, former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, yesterday waded into the whole xenophobic attack thing, and in her tweets addressed to both President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa and President Buhari of Nigeria, she decried the attacks in the country. According to her, the maiming and killing of citizens of Nigeria and other African countries in South Africa dishonors everything our collective fight for freedom was about. She also stated it is time to get candid, as the killings has gone on for too long without any effective response. Meanwhile, we hear that she has petitioned the president of South Africa as well over this issue. All right, gentlemen, people are calling for Nigerians to come back home. Is that even an option, seeing the state of the country at the moment?
Well, I had positioned earlier that if our government, you see, whatever Nigerians are going through, either at home or abroad, still comes back to the issue of bad governance. Our politicians must begin to realize that the lives of Nigerians matters a lot. They need to realize that power, sovereignty rests with the people. Power rests with the people. We need to get out of this shackle of thinking that the moment you're elected as a governor, a honorable member, a president, you own the country. No, the country belongs to the people. If our government officials are doing the right thing, if people are beginning to ask for accountability from their local government to their honorable members to their state, I am telling you, Nigeria would be a country. Nigeria is so blessed. I mean, you need to just scratch on the surface of Nigeria and you would find whatever you want. But unfortunately, God has given us population, but God has infested us with bad leadership.
Mr. Tana, is coming back home an option?
Yes, I will say yes.
Okay.
Let me tell you, it is when you are alive that you can safeguard whatever you have. I wouldn't like to go back to this, but when the Biafran war was going on in Nigeria, we all saw what happened to our brothers and sisters. Today, they've passed that level. They've taken their destiny in their hands now, and they are doing fine. I won't deceive you. Look at the time we were driven out from Ghana. Our people came home with nothing, absolutely with nothing. I knew some people who came home there without anything. Only the clothes they were putting on. Today, there are people, they've passed through this thing. They've started their life afresh. Is it when you are killed that you know that you should come back home? That's what I used to say. There will be a day when you'll be forced to come back home. You can't live in foreign land for long.
All right, Jukes, is coming back home an option?
It's not an option.
At all?
It's not.
Okay.
Let them stay there and die.
It's not an option. You see, I will repeat it. It's easier for us to sit down here and be talking the way we are talking. When you go down there, you understand that you dare not even tell them to come home. If it's easier to come home, you think they will still be there? It's just like Igbo people telling everybody even in the north to come home. Are they all back home?
Where are they going to stay?
What you are going to do is to find a solution. Why is nobody talking about African Union? Is AU not also the body that looks over the entire Africa? Because this killing, like I pointed out from the beginning, it's not about Nigeria. It's about the rest of other African people living in South Africa. Why is it that the African leaders are not coming under the umbrella of African Union to call South Africa to order? Why are we not exploring that? You see, because I just read a message from Bajabiamila, the speaker. He's on his way back to Nigeria. He has cut short his visit to Tanzania. They are coming back to reconvene. The House will have to reconvene to discuss this particular issue. I don't think the Nigerian government is taking it lightly like people think. But what has happened, which is not all we sit down here to discuss, is that when you are dealing with these issues, you begin to find things beyond your control. I was part of writing a copy for The Guardian last year, and we are looking at how Nigerians are being killed in South Africa. And in the course of doing that story, I came across a whole lot of things that made me pull back. Do you know that the Nigerian community at a point set up like a task force to fish out bad eggs, Nigerians, and use their hand to send them home? There's a particular barrister, Austin, who used to be the president of Nigerians in South Africa. I spoke to him and he said yes, that they let that thing, once they hear you're in Nigeria doing anything negative, they'll bundle you and send you back by themselves.
Okay.
So there are so many things in this, but I'm sure what we need to do is to explore that angle of diplomacy. If you say you want to go and boycott or whatever, I don't think that solves anything.
Okay, MTEX on WhatsApp is saying we are tired of Nigerian government. Thank you, MTEX from Osun State. All right, let's go back to text messages. Our government should stand up to their responsibilities in the protection of lives and properties within and outside the country. Abubakar Yusuf from Abuja. All right, this other one says, if you want to upset our dear government, endanger the life of any cow, and you will hear win. IK from Oba.
See the mindset?
Look at the mindset now. That's
TV says this is a shame to Nigerian leaders. All right,
so
Chris Okocha from Barua in Ikpaja says our government should respond to this action firmly enough to stop further attacks. Thank you so much for sending that one in. All right, this other one says, good day guests in the studio and the humble anchor. In fact, this is the only program that people's opinions matter. where it is coming from. Now, I have been thinking why things are not getting better. Please let us be us, tell ourselves the truth. All right, read Numbers 23 verse 7 to 8.
As a pastor. He has almost been a pastor.
He went on to say Balak told Balaam to curse Jacob and Israel, but God said you cannot curse whom God has not cursed. Jonathan accepted defeat, but Nigerians are cursing him and his family members. He's not cursed by God. Please let us apologize to Jonathan for our
Jonathan got?
Patience, you shouldn't be reading this.
You shouldn't be reading
You shouldn't be reading this.
Okay.
This is where our problem stems from.
I actually didn't know it was Jonathan, the former president. I got carried away.
No, wait. See, patient. Let me say this. Let me say this. We need to face. We need to face reality. We need to face reality.
Go ahead.
The problem in Nigeria, I've always said, starts from the home. Our values have been eroded.
Of course.
So the home, we need to go back to the basic, to bring back the home to what it used to be. We need to also bring our religious institutions to a point where they must begin to look at things from the perspective of morality.
Look, we don't value lives in Nigeria, especially in Nigeria here. Look at all these racial killings going on. How many of these people have been caught and prosecuted? Not only catching them, but prosecuted. We've not seen any. So we don't value life in this Nigeria. About 2 weeks ago, we were talking about the population that, more than 19 million are not registered. It means 19 millions are
19 million children.
They are living
no record.
They are living like spirits. They don't exist.
Chooks, 20 seconds.
I think mine is the only point of concern for me was that at the TICAD in Japan, the Nigerian president met with the South African president on the sideline of the discussion, and I wonder what they were discussing. Just a few days after that, we were having
what would they be discussing?
But the thing is that we might need to review our relationship with South Africa at the government level.
Exactly.
We might need to go back to that whatever agreement we have with them and be able to say, okay, put terms and conditions. If this continues, then we can't continue like this. The truth is that Africa is down because South Africa and Nigeria is finding it difficult to work together.
Okay.
And until both countries work together, we are not going anywhere.
Well said. All right, the federal government, via its verified Twitter handle, has reacted and keeps reacting to this attack on Nigerians residing in South Africa, and they stated that the attacks are unacceptable and that President Buhari will meet with the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa in October over the rising attacks. But I think before October, something will be done because they are not taking this actually with their arms folded.
I know that at the level of Foreign Affairs Ministry, they are also doing something because I've been following them. The Foreign Affairs Ministry, they are trying to get into this matter. But I know that the discussion at the presidential level is
people have been killed on a daily basis.
We need to go. I know this is
if we have to wait till October,
look at the mentality.
Thank you, Prince Chinaka. Mr. Turner, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you, Chooks.
Oh my God.
Thank you for another week. Thank you, viewers, for all your messages. We appreciate your contribution. We'll be back tomorrow, same